I have been drawing every day for the last 2 years, or 730 days. And I'm not even done. But let's go back to the beginning. The year is 2021, widely considered one of the years of all time. My favorite manga had just ended in a Game of Thrones type of way.
You're my queen. You're my queen.
And I wasn't having any of it. I could have ended it way better myself. Making a manga can't be that hard, right? I mean, drawing looks pretty easy. You just doodle some stuff. So, I spent the only money I had to buy a digital drawing tablet. On April 17, it arrived, and oh my god, drawing is so hard. What? Why can't I draw a line? Why can't I draw a face? What the fuck? I immediately wanted to give up. I couldn't even draw a single face. And this project would require hundreds of drawings.
Go back to playing video games. Or just kill yourself.
You can't give up. You started this story, didn't you?
I kept trying. For the first time in my life, I made the right decision, and I was proud of myself. Because it may seem a bit silly, but art has had a huge impact on my life, and this was one of the turning points. Because before this, all I ever did was just waste away. I have autism, and I dropped out of school when I was 13. I thought I had no ambition at all because I looked at the lives people were living, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't want to live. I just wasted my time away with video games, or movies, or manga. But now I'd found something, and it wasn't just fun, but it felt purposeful. It felt like there was meaning to it. Video games had their moments, sure, but after a 10-hour gaming session, you feel like garbage. But now, I was drawing 10 hours a day, and this is one of the times where autism has worked for me instead of against me, because when I was able to hyper-focus on art, I could draw all day, every day. And I had some goddamn discipline. I got up early in the morning, and I did it again, and again. And I was producing masterpieces, such as these. After 1 month, I had completed the project I set out to, and I was left with a weird feeling of, what now? I decided to add on to the project, which took another month, but I was definitely not drawing as much, maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. But I had noticed some improvements as my lines had gotten more confident. By June, July, I was kind of in a weird place in my art journey because I was drawing a bit every day, but I had mostly gone back to playing video games. I wasn't really sure if art was something I was going to keep doing. I remember debating it actually, and I finally made the decision. I cancelled my World of Warcraft subscription and decided to only focus on drawing. So I made my first OCs, and I started drawing their stories. And I'm so glad that I did, without falling into the trap of, oh, but I'm not good enough yet. I knew I wasn't good, but I could see that I was getting better. Because of that, and because of the fact that I wasn't posting my art on Instagram or Twitter, I wasn't comparing myself to other artists. I was able to feel good about my art. And before that feeling of goodness could turn to self-loathing, I had already moved on to the next piece. I was fast.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
I did have a nasty habit of putting characters and things around the edges, and I consistently put focal points too far down, leaving tons of empty space above them. But I started doing some thumbnails, and I started leveling up my composition. I was always outside my comfort zone to the point where I basically didn't have a comfort zone. All kinds of head angles, all kinds of poses, all kinds of materials and backgrounds. I wasn't confident in drawing any of these things, but I never let that stop me. I started using stronger contrasts with some proper light sources. My colors started getting better. Here's a fight scene that I did. Actually it was pretty hard to do, but I had a lot of fun making this. It was the first time I really started using ambient light to paint. I used both the blue from the sky and yellow reflected light from the grass to try to make the metal really feel like metal. I had a lot of fun drawing this armory. At the end of 2021, I put a pause on that project to work on another, which was really good because now I started working in grayscale. What was not so good was that I started using Twitter. The start of 2022 was the final turning point in my life, as that's when I discovered self-improvement. Self-improvement may seem like some basic, extra thing to other people, but for me, it made everything click. My whole life I'd been hopeless, and people gave the advice to just be hopeful, just because, but I never saw a reason to be hopeful. Finally, someone told me that it was up to me to build a life worth hoping for. And I realized that just because I didn't want to live like other people doesn't mean I didn't have to live at all. And because I now had a skill, something I really liked doing, I now started realizing I could monetize it. I could create a business, which is why I'm here now. By April 2022, I'd been working mostly in grayscale for the last 5 or so months, but by the end of it, I was way better at colors. I luckily decided to stop using Twitter, and by June, I was back to the project I put on. But working on this big story, it felt different now that I had all these plans for the future. Now that I was planning to make a business, to make this YouTube channel, while I was working on my real life, it started feeling like a burden. I did have a lot of fun with it, and I still think a lot of the art I made at that time is really cool. Like, this is one of my favorite pieces I've made. But by August, I gave up on working on stories, and I decided to just do individual studies. It was actually kind of disheartening at first because I wasn't really used to painting after a reference, so it was a big switch up to my usual process, so my art actually got a bit worse before it got better. I had a lot of fun doing these studies on my dog, and I really challenged myself to do studies of League of Legends splash arts, so I did this one of Volibear and this one of Warwick, and I was really proud of those. I kept at it, doing studies of photos and other people's art, but after a while, all of a sudden, I lost just all of my motivation. I just woke up one day and didn't want to draw at all. So I actually went a week without doing any art. So this title is a lie. I didn't feel like it really came back, but I started drawing again. For the first year of doing art, my improvement had been very linear. But now, I'd feel like I was stagnating, and then I feel like I got worse, and then I felt like I got way better, and it'd kind of repeat like that. I got really into Victorian era dresses for a while, but then I started feeling like I wasn't improving as much as I should. I also started uploading stuff on social media, but then at the start of 2023, I was suddenly just way better at portraits, and I felt like the improvement from the last few months just came all at once. At this point, I was making content on all of the platforms, and I was getting really discouraged in not seeing any results. I saw other people on their first upload, on their first post, they were getting hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of likes, and I started feeling like the algorithm was against me. I'd be up late, whether I was making art or a YouTube video, and I'd feel like what I was creating was really good.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
Then I'd upload it and go to sleep, and when I woke up the next day, grab my phone and see that it had 5 views, and I just feel crushed. And that kept going for quite a while. I was so frustrated. Until just recently, I got my head out of my ass, stopped feeling sorry for myself. I realized that my content really isn't all that great because I always rush everything. I never take my time to actually make something good. I've stopped trying to create as much content as I can, and instead, whether it's a YouTube video or an art piece, actually take my time to make something good. In April of 2021, I drew this. And in April of 2023, I drew this.